Hello YouTube, it's Emma Blue10 here with a response video to Dark Edition 84's rant about heroes. I'll link the video down below for you guys to see. Now, just to let you know before you quickly go and have a look at the video, don't click it yet. Dark Edition 84 absolutely loves Elemental heroes, and he's combined them with several of his decks, such as his Dark Magician deck, the Legendary Hero deck, and etc, etc. So he absolutely loves heroes, so it's not what you think it is. It's actually about, I suppose you can say, it's not really a sensitive topic anymore, I suppose. It's about people dissing his deck style because it wasn't the same as a standard build in other competitive builds that they've seen. And I just want to give Dark Edition 84 support on this and everything, because I've been through the same thing and I know how it feels when somebody out of the blue, nowhere, completely disses the deck before realising the potential of it and that sort of thing. So I hope you guys enjoy, and also I don't mean if I say anything that offends you, I'm really sorry, but I'm just being absolutely honest here, and I don't mean to offend anybody. It's not my nature to upset people, so said if you don't like it, then you don't like it, okay, but that's just my honest opinion. Okay then, so right, people dissing other people's decks because either they're too slow, or they're not the same as a standard competitive build, or are unique or something, I think is absolute BS in my opinion. Okay, now as you guys know, I play Blue Eyes White Dragon with a Totem Dragon build at this current time, before the Saga of the Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck comes out, without using Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, because Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, I keep saying, is an amazing card. It's really good. I would recommend it to most Dragon players if they want to play it, but it all comes down to player preference and player choice. I prefer Totem Dragon over Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon because I feel, with Totem Dragon at least, there are more combos that I can do with Totem Dragon rather than just Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon on its own. Hence why I use that as my main tribute card, support card of my Dragon deck. Same with Dark Edition 84. He builds hero decks or hero combination decks and everything, but he uses, say, some of the original Elemental heroes like Burstinatrix, Avion, Clayman, Bubbleman, etc, etc, and yet he gets dissed for using those cards over some of the newer heroes that are currently out, which I think is wrong. I mean, yes, they could be faster, they could be better, they could be have better effects, they could be more stronger than their normal counterparts, but still, it all comes down to player choice and player preference. You know, not everybody is striving to build a deck that is the absolute best, that can win every single time or every single tournament. I mean, Richie, Dark Edition 84, sorry, has won a few tournaments with his Legendary Hero build or some Elemental Hero build deck that he has built, which I really admire him for, because he's using the classic monsters and not just all the new stuff like Big Hero or Big City, Bubble Beat, can't remember the last one, but it'll come to me eventually, that sort of thing. And in turn, Richie admires me for building Blue Eyes White Dragon without having to use Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You know, every duelist respects each other and admires each other in different ways. For example, you guys could admire somebody building a Dragon Ruler deck, say, in a completely different way from the standard build, like, for example, say, maybe not using all three of the big dragons or all three of the babies, maybe only using just the dragon rulers themselves, not the babies, you know, maybe. I'm just giving a suggestion here, just an example, I suppose. Same with Prophecy. Some people like building Prophecy with the priestess in it, some people just don't use it. They use maybe Jaugen, I suppose, or Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer, or even just the Spellbook, hang on a minute, Magician of Spellbook, sorry, that's what it's called. It all comes down to player preferences and what you actually want the deck to do. For example, Richie is a fun player like me, and you know, he plays to do his absolute best. Again, he's not that competitive where he has to win every single tournament, and it's the same with me. I'm not like that either, as I explained in my previous video. I don't, you know, I play for fun. I can be competitive, I do want to do well, but I'm not that desperate to win tournaments or anything, or win enough points on my Konami card or the tournament, you know, ranking or whatever, anything. I go out to enjoy myself and do my best and all that. But I mean, the thing is, saying something negative about a deck, if it's constructive criticism saying, I don't think that card is right for the deck because this card would be better, blah de blah, you know, nothing wrong with that, but going outright to say that your deck is absolute rubbish, or your deck is far too slow for this format, or, you know, you're an absolute newbie for building that deck, it's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's just an absolute waste of time typing that sort of thing, to be honest, because, you know, if you don't look at the information of how long that person's been playing, I mean, both Dark Patrician 84 and myself, Scapegoat User, Kalo Shade, Neo Nexodus, Naughty Lord of Light, and all my Skype friends, basically, we've been playing this game for almost 10 years, so we're not newbies at all. We're actually quite experienced in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if we're not supremely skilled duelist, we're quite experienced. We've been with the game for a very long time, and I can say with confidence, I have gained a lot of knowledge and experience over the 10 years I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! I can safely also say that for the first 5 years I was a complete noob, you know, playing with a Blue Eyes Dark Mage deck, as it were, and eventually evolving into the Blue Eyes deck I have today, which is a lot more streamlined and competitive and everything. And of course it's going to be going through another change again, as I keep saying, with the Blue Eyes structure deck coming out, and hopefully with that coming out I'll improve even more as a duelist, actually getting more combos and getting more skill at the game via the deck and everything. But saying like a deck is trash, or because either it's different from a build or it's not as expensive, that's another thing I've seen sometimes, is people saying, you know, you don't have this expensive card, you know, the deck's rubbish because it doesn't have this or that. Thing is, you have to remember, some people cannot afford those expensive cards. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an expensive game. I mean, the average deck nowadays apparently costs, if you were to completely like bling it out, as it were, could cost up to, well, let's say about £1,000, £1,000, or like several $100s in the US anyway. You know, if you want the absolute best deck to win and everything. Now, if you've got a good reason that you want to get the best deck to do really well, go to World Championships and Nationals and all that, then fine, fair enough, you know, you go ahead, there's nothing wrong with that. But saying to others, like, your deck is trash because you don't have the expensive, or you can't afford to get the expensive cards, or they're using a different tech card in comparison to other builds, as I keep saying, it's absolute BS. You know, it's that person's choice. They're the one building the deck, not you. If you want to build the deck that they're using your way, then go and do it and see how it works for yourself, but don't immediately diss somebody else's deck, for goodness sake. Alright, because can you imagine the amount of time people put into their decks? I mean, well, probably meta decks do take a bit of time to make and everything, but with unique decks such as Dark Patrician 84's Legendary Heroes, with Kalo Shade Jubel, my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, and all that sort of thing, these decks do take a lot of time and effort and a lot of testing to find out what's good for us, what's good for the player, what is the best tech choices, what's the best way to go with combos and all that. And it can take a long time. I mean, I've been playing the same deck for nearly 10 years and I still don't think it's perfect, to be honest with you. But, you know, and saying that sort of thing can really hurt someone's feelings. I mean, it's, you know, all that effort and time and in some cases money put into that deck, you know, to make it as best you can so you can have fun with it and do well and everything, and then somebody decides to go and say it's absolute trash. You know, it is very hurtful. But the thing is, if it's just one person, then just ignore them, because more than likely they are jealous that they don't have a cool deck like that, or they just don't understand because they're so up their backside, as it were, about their own deck and everything, and they just don't like the idea. Some people are just simply offended by the fact that maybe somebody's not running a specific card in comparison to others. Like, you know, quite a few people are surprised and upset, I suppose, if you like, that the fact I don't run Meta Darkness Metal Dragon. You know, as I keep saying, it's a good card, I just don't want to use it. I prefer Totem Dragon. That's my choice. That's my deck. It's not yours. If you want to build my exact same deck with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, I'm not stopping you. You go ahead, you know, but I'm not going to run it because that's my personal choice. You know, there's nothing wrong with just admiring and respecting the fact that somebody has chosen to do something completely different. You know, there's loads of people like this in Yu-Gi-Oh, but sadly, especially in the Yu-Gi-Tube community, I would say, quite a few duelists sadly get shot down when they try to bring something unique into the deck. For example, a good friend of mine, Super Saiyan Kanum, I hope I got your name right there, he has a Obelisk the Tormentor built deck, and I've seen it. It's actually a good deck and everything, you know, but with those kind of decks it does take a lot of time and improvement, but he sometimes gets quite dissed for it because he's using a tribute monster, he's not using a faster deck variant, or etc, etc, and it's like, well, it's his choice, you know, it's his deck, he builds it the way he wants it. He's a fun player, he's not a competitive player, he doesn't have to go into a tournament to completely win the game, you know. His object of the deck is to get out Obelisk the Tormentor as quickly as he can. You know, it's the same with mine. My deck is focused on Blue-Eyes Shining Dragon. My object of the deck is to get her out onto the field, not as quickly as possible, but sometime in the duel, because I know the effect of trying to get it out as quick as possible equals a game loss for me anyway. But you see, because it all depends on player choice. I mean, as I said, if you want to build an expensive, super fast, top tier deck, then that's your choice. But for others who don't want to go down that route, you can't really say anything to them. You can voice your opinion, whether it's positive or negative, true, you know, no one's stopping you, but you know, you can't dictate or force them into going into a path or down a path that they don't want to go down, you know, because it isn't fair on them, it won't make them happy, you know. You should always go with what you're comfortable with and what you're happy with, because there's been a few times I've taken advice from some of my subscribers or from other people and it turns out to be the wrong choice and it doesn't make me as happy. Sometimes I've made choices in my deck, or deck choices that sometimes please other people, but after a wee while it doesn't please me. For example, the Chaos twist that I added into my Blue Eyes deck with some of the Chaos Dragons. Some people were happy to see me try new cards, and I will agree. I thought it was really cool to see me using a Chaos Twist in my deck, because I thought it was amazing. It was going to be a new era for the Blue Eyes and everything. But sadly, eventually I came to realise that Chaos Twist can't really work without Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. The Dragons Collide structure deck and all the cards in it were literally built for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So unfortunately I had to toss that idea out the window. I still wish I could use the Chaos Dragons, but to actually use them without Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, I will admit, will be very difficult. But oh well, nothing you can do about it there. I tried, I did like it, it just didn't work out for me, so my choice was just to go back to my old style, something that I was happy with, that I was comfortable with, and that I knew very, very well. What else? I think I've actually spoken about everything Oh yes, just to finish the video off, I suppose. This is not quite related, but it's similar. There was something I was reading or watching the other day on The Escapist by Jimquisition, which my boyfriend likes watching, and he was talking about something in the gaming market, and he was relating it to jars of pasta sauce. I know this is a bit strange, but he was saying there's no perfect pasta sauce, only perfect pasta sauces, because some people might like the one sauce, others might like other sauces. So in a way I could say that in Yu-Gi-Oh there are no perfect decks. There's no perfect deck, there's only perfect decks, because as much as I hate to admit it, to be honest with you, I cannot perfect Blue Eyes White Dragon. I can get it as close as I can, but the thing is, there will always be something, wrong with it. Well, not wrong with it, always something not complete about it, because sadly that's the thing with decks. Decks constantly evolve, they constantly change, they constantly update to the meta, the Forbidden Unlimited list, etc, etc. There's no perfect deck that will not be touched by any of these things. If the meta evolves, then you and the deck have to evolve with it. And that's what I do with mine. Hence why I have a lot of changes in my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck most of the time, because I'm always constantly updating and testing it, and trying to figure out what works best for the current format and everything. So as I said, there's no perfect Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Nobody can make a perfect Yu-Gi-Oh deck, sadly. There's only perfect Yu-Gi-Oh decks, and it's up to the person to find those decks and tweak them to their preference, and their choices, to make it their own deck and make them happy to play this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said, if I do say anything to offend anybody, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to, but as I said, this was something I had to do to support Dark Edition 84, because I've been through this myself with people completely dissing my deck because, you know, it's not the same thing as everything else basically. But as I said, Richie, I hope you find this helpful, I hope you find this useful. And of course, if you guys want to do any video responses to this, or to this video, or to Dark Edition 84's video, I'll post the link down below, and I look forward to hearing from you guys, your thoughts and opinions on this and all that. So till then, take care, and remember, there's no perfect Yu-Gi-Oh deck, only perfect Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!